Alright, so here we go. Welcome to episode 2 of Lifessa Lounge. Today we're going to be touching on topics to do with your goals, the importance of understanding what a goal actually is, how to get from where you are now to where you want to be and kind of reverse engineering from them. And then we're going to touch just a tiny piece on your kind of underlying why. So we've matched up, as you can see, we've switched up the way we do. I think we were all a bit excitable last week and like pumped up and ready to go. So a bit more structure to the conversation this week. So I think if we kick off, let's just get straight drill into it. Like, I just want us to touch on the importance of understanding what a goal is, because I'm not sure that everybody necessarily does. Like, you ask somebody what's your goal, they're like, I want to be rich. I'm like, that's not really a goal. Or I want to be happy. That's not really a goal. What is rich? Define it. What is happy? What makes you happy? You see what I mean?
Because everything's subjective. That's being rich is subjective. If you're someone, some people might say, "Oh, I earn 100k, yeah, that's rich." And someone else might say, "I earn £1 million, that's rich." So when people say, "I want to be rich," or "I want to be," or "I just want to be successful," "I want to be happy," those are terms that I call fluff.
Fluff, yeah.
And what I mean by that is that they don't mean anything. You're just saying something just for the sake of saying it. So we're going to try and like define what we see as a goal.
Yeah, well, everybody's going to have different goals. Everyone's going to have different aspirations. So it's just about, finding out what is the goal for you and then working towards it.
But I think, so you touched on there, that's the point, right? When you say we're going to define it, so it's not for us to define this, and when you say it's individual for everybody, that's the point, right? You have to define the goal. It has to have a clear definition. So, like, when we're talking about what a goal is, so when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, and you were like, yeah, we only met up like a short while ago, you're starting to talk to me, like, so we've done this, and we've set up the Facebook and the blog, but what is the goal, Ben? And I was like, the goal is £1 million business from now, 5 years from now. I said we'll have multiple divisions, we'll run across kind of media marketing, because I'm like, for me, first 5 years, we're moving to the offline marketing. I'm not going to spend time on us building on an offline platform where we're not doing it. You're going to have like your planning division, who's going to be looking after the offline events, the seminars, the networking. You're going to have your business development and your financing. And I think when I was talking to you, that's when you start to realise, all right, Ben has in his mind what the goal is for this, right?
But so that's why I asked the question. We was talking and we was walking, and I was just like, so where are we going? Like, where is this going in 5 years, 10 years? Because I think that's important as well. Is to sort of have mini goals to then get to your end goal.
I think what's also important is to have a deadline. Because a lot of people have goals but they have no deadline. So it's like, without deadline, you have no sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And you have no sense of end goal. Because if a deadline, you could, I want to be rich. But that means you're giving yourself your whole lifetime to get rich. Yeah. And because you give yourself that whole lifetime to get rich, there's no urgency there.
There's no urgency.
So when he said, in 5 years' time, bang, he knows that in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, he's actually working towards something, and then he says, by year 5, I want to hit this deadline.
Yeah.
So it's funny. There's a video that I watched on it was a TED talk. And they were talking about, it was to do with, it's an entertaining talk actually, so it's about procrastination. But they were like, right, and he was like, when I used to be at college, I would have a year to do a piece of work, and he'd like, and I'd map it out, so I would do it steadily over the year. And then he was like, well, first quarter I didn't do anything, so then I had to double up on what I had to do. Second quarter, I didn't really do anything. And then in the end of it, he got to the last day before it, and that's when you put in like the 72-hour shifts, right? Because that's when they've hit the deadline. So that is the point, like along the way, the 5-year goal. And this is kind of where we build into the importance of being able to map back, because once you have the clear definition of what the goal is, then you understand where you're going. So right, your first point is understand, define exactly what your goal is. So right now, wherever you're listening to this, watching it, whatever you say is your goal right now, can you, if I came up to you today and said, what is your goal? Could you roll off your tongue with clear definition what it is? And you may not be able to do that right now, but the point is, if you can't, you need to go away and start thinking about that. Right, how do I get specific? Then you've got your end goal, right? So the 5-year one, I'm not going to go, it's going to take me too long if we went through all the specifics, right? But then you map out. It's almost like you're running the own internal project of your life, where you map out your milestones, right? Yeah. So you start with your end goal, right? That's where I want to be. This is where I am. And then you just reverse engineer your way back out of it, right? So, right, now I've got my deadline. If I'm going to hit that from where I am here, where do I need to hit at what points along the way? And I just think, out of everybody who's sitting there and they're like, I've got a goal, I'm like, the reason you don't get anywhere towards your goal is, one, you can't tell me what it is, and two, you can't tell me the path that you map out to get there. So you're sitting around every day waking up going, yeah, I've got that same goal, and then a day passes, a week passes, you haven't done anything because you literally have no plan that you're following. You're just waking up every morning, idly expecting something to happen, right? And it just doesn't work like that.
As I'm saying about when people go back to like The Secret and the thoughts become things, without a set plan and actual action, those thoughts will stay in your head and they won't become anything.
Well, like what you said, fluff, I think that's the key. Well, not the key, but that's a word which I used to describe it as well. Is you get some people that say, by the age of 30, I want to be here, and that's their goal. But like you say, every morning they wake up, they're not actually working towards doing anything, and then they get to 30 and they haven't, and they get, oh no, I haven't achieved what I wanted, but they hadn't actually worked towards that. It was just something that was in their head that they wanted to get, and they didn't work towards it, and it's very important to just map it out and work every day.
But also, I think we might understand when with goals, you might say it's a deadline, and it's okay if you don't achieve the deadline, as long as you set the deadline for yourself and you know you're working towards that. Because to take example for myself, I had my deadline to be qualified accountant by the age of 30. I missed it by a year. I qualified by the age of 31, and it wasn't because of I set a deadline and targets, and I knew I said to myself I had to.
But were you working towards it?
Oh, exactly.
So that's all right.
So I kind of meet in the middle there, right? Because I agree, you will set goals and you will set milestones and you may miss them. However, there needs to be a degree of you. Sometimes you overestimate what you can do, right? So understandable. If you're drilling at it every day and you just set an unreasonable expectation, then that's fine. You learn for next time round. But then at the same time, if you set something which is a year down the line and you miss it because 5 days out of the 7 days in a week you weren't doing the square root of F all on it, and you were spending maybe, I don't know, 4 hours. I spent 4 hours doing a bit of studying on the weekend, on a Sunday, and I feel good about that because I wasn't sitting watching TV. You haven't really done anything, so I'm a bit meat in the middle. I'm all for make sure that you're practical about the goals and the deadlines that you set. And if you miss them, look back on why you missed them. So if you missed them, was it because you were unrealistic? In which case, you learn for the next time of planning. Or did you miss them because you just didn't put in the work? Because if you missed them because you didn't put in the work, then you better hold yourself accountable for that the next time around. So as much as I'm like, you may not always hit your milestones, you need to be critical of yourself. And again, I'll go back to it. It's like mapping the project of your life, right? Like, you'll get in a project, you have to review what you've done. Are there any lessons I could have learned from that? And that's when, if you've underestimated what the requirement is, or you've not met it, or the timeline is too much, then you go back and reevaluate that. But I'm all for, again, critical and accountability, because don't tell yourself, oh yeah, I just missed that goal and it's not a problem, when realistically you just weren't putting in the work. So again, that is part of when you understand your goal, and when I say you reverse engineer it and you map it out, you really need to map out all of it. And it's different how people lay out their plans, right? Like, I'm primarily one of those who I need to execute on something, so I understand the goal and I map it out, but then I won't go into that umpteenth detail of everything that I'm doing, right? And we kind of bounce, like, we've got a good dynamic in the group where you were saying earlier on in the week where you're a perfectionist, right? But when you're a perfectionist, you might wait around forever to get something done. So when we had the stuff with this and putting the videos up, you were finding, right, I'll put it up because we're being pushed to put it up, and then we'll correct it along the way. So it's a bit of that balance in the two. But I just think that there's just too many people out there who, again, they'll sit there and they'll say, if you ask them about the goal, oh yeah, well don't worry, I can be specific about my goal. Okay, but then I'm going to push you a step further. What are the steps you need to get there? Oh, I can't really map that out. Then go away and map that out, because 5 years from now needs to have milestones which are so clear that every day you wake up and you know what you're doing to build towards that. And I just think there's just way too many people out there who have not taken the time to understand where it is they're trying to get to, the path they're going to go on to get there, which is not going to be straight. It's going to deviate. There are going to be curveballs that are thrown at you. But if, it's like I said, I think I said that last week, and I said it to you guys before, like, if I get in my car and I want to go somewhere, but I don't know where that is, I'm just going to end up driving forever, right? I'm never going to stop because I don't know my destination. And I may take different ways on the route to get there, because everybody has a different route to get to their end goal, whatever their end goal is. But you need to understand what that is along the way. I don't set out without a sat nav, I don't set out without a map, right? that's what gets me from A through B, C, D, E, through the letters of the alphabet to the end goal, right?
Yeah. Do you think then the importance of having mini goals, would that then sort of help mapping out something? Or?
Well, they're not mini goals, right? They're milestones.
Yeah.
Again, I'll go back to the analogy of building a project. They're all milestones. They're all the activities that I break down. And you don't have to put it down on a plan. Some people might have it on a plan. They're all, I know various times I've had times where I'm in my place and I just put A3 sheets up on the wall, I grab a felt tip pen, and you just map out stuff. You brainstorm, you write out activities, right? But I know what I'm doing every week to build forward. So I know, right, I need to execute on this week. And if I missed it, then I need to hold myself accountable for why I missed it. And there are times where I get to the end of the week and I'm like, Ben, you just didn't put in the effort. You weren't ready to stay up the long hours or get up early. Sometimes I look back and I was like, life just hit me with something, so I'm just going to be delayed by a week on that. But completely about end goals, map them back, set your milestones, and then execute on the activities to get that.
Would you say your plan is living? So your plan is living plan in the sense that your plan, although you haven't done it in minute detail, but you've set your plan where you know where you're going, but also you can adapt with your plan. Would you say your plan's adaptable to different circumstances?
Yeah, you have to be adaptable, right? Because you can't. Life is life, and it's gonna throw stuff at you. Like you can have a vision of the path you want to go on to get there, but you have to be, even if, in as much as any plan is adaptable because you can mix and move around things as they happen, you need to be adaptable. You need to be ready to respond to anything that happens along the way. And that means, of course, to get you back on course, that means those times where you set a task and you just fail. You just hit a roadblock, you fail miserably, but you say, do you know what? I learned from that. I'm going to get back up. And now, how do I get myself back onto the goal? So I would say it's less about the plan being adaptable, because all plans are adaptable, you can move stuff.
Okay.
It's more about you being adaptable and ready to respond to anything that may push you off. And likewise, that can be the things of it. So I believe in, you make your own luck, in as much as when you have a plan, you start to position yourself in places where serendipity just looks down on you, right?
And doors open for you.
That you didn't expect.
Yeah, I think of myself, and there's been loads of times where I've got a lucky break, or something's just quite happened, and you think, oh, that was really lucky. But then I look back and I think, you know what, that wasn't luck, because I've worked hard and I've put myself in a position to receive that. Because if I didn't do this, this and this, I wouldn't be here to even be able to receive that bit of luck.
Yeah, so, without starting the journey, you won't.
Exactly.
So you have to start the journey. You actually have to begin and start. If you don't start, nothing will happen.
That's right.
And doors won't open for you. So if you start, that's when doors open for you. Serendipity. I can't say that word, but I tried. Once you start, doors will open for you, and it happens. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Once you start on your path, doors open for you.
Well, like what Gary Vee sort of says in some of his pieces is, he may only get 10 views on something. He gets a lot more than that now. But he was talking about, even if you get 10 views, 20 views, but that one person viewing might open up doors to anything. So if you didn't start off, you wouldn't be in a position to get that one person to view, and then that can open up doors.
So you position yourself, isn't it? And in a day where you've got online media and media marketing is so easy to get out there, then at the same time as your plan is adaptable and you need to be adaptable, it may not be that you're responding to a challenge. It may actually be all of a sudden, like say 1 week we put one of these videos up and somebody sees it and something clicks with them and they're an influencer in the market, and then they share it out or they tweet it out or something and it blows up, and all of a sudden the views spiral, and then your plan needs to be adaptable in as much as, wow, this has just accelerated on what I expected it to be, so I need to be able to respond and keep up with this and ride the wave. So it's as much as, again, it comes back to me, once you've got your plan, you know what you're mapping towards. You need to be able to face challenges when you hit them, get yourselves back onto track, and then if something happens along the way where you get luck that fast tracks you, you need to be able to respond to that, because the last thing you want to do is say, right, there was a fast track option and I missed the boat.